Well, as you know, if you watch regularly, we are a huge fan, big supporter of Montreal music talents, and we got some of the best this morning. In the history of jazz, they are legends, going back to Rockheads and Biddles. This city really was alive for many, many years, and of course, we are going to celebrate jazz now. Playing a number called Afro Parris, I'm pleased to welcome Richard Parris and the Paradise Jazz Band. Gentlemen. That's what I call jazz. Afro Parris, the Paradise Jazz Band, and Richard Parris. Come on over, Richard. Put that sax down. Come on over. You can catch these guys actually 5 nights a week in various forms at Biddle's, the great jazz club here in Montreal. Good morning, Richard. Thanks for coming on. It is a pleasure to meet you. Have a seat. And we should say, first of all, let's introduce the guys in the band if we can. And we'll start first on bass. Who we got over there?
On bass, we have Earl Walters.
Good morning, Earl. Thanks for coming on this morning. Getting up so early, I know it's tough for a jazz musician. I appreciate you used to going to bed about this time.
That's true.
On piano.
On piano is Mr. Billy Georgette.
Good morning, Billy, also. And finally, the third man over on drums.
It's Mr. Andy Shorter, Jr.
Andy Shorter, Jr. Good morning, Andy. Thank you as well for coming on this morning. And there's a great history here in terms of how the Paradise Jazz Band got its name, because paradise is the key word here.
Yes.
Ruth?
Well, this comes from the Paradise, Rockhead's Paradise in Montreal, which has been an icon for years and years. When I was growing up, when I was just a little guy, this is a place where all the black musicians used to congregate of our city and worked. And this is more or less the basics from where we come from. We're an offering. That was another generation, but we are into the same music they were more or less into.
Now, you were neighbors growing up with the likes of Oscar Peterson,
Oliver Jones.
Just some names, you know?
Reggie Wilson, and the Seeley brothers and the Seeley family.
It must have been quite a time growing up. Did you know at that point that you guys would be part of legendary scene?
Not really.
Make history in music in Montreal?
Not really. I did not on my own part, not really. Never expecting to this day to be sitting here talking to you on television and playing.
At 63 years young.
My goodness. My goodness. Yes, sir.
You picked up the sax almost by accident as a teenager. Yes. What happened there? You were working for a repair shop?
Well, I was working for a repair shop, actually, and more or less just cleaning up around the shop and learning the trade. And this particular person that had the store was on the corner of La Gauchetière and Bleury Street, and his name was Arduini, who ended up with one of the larger music stores in this city, where they sell instruments as well as music of every type, the paper music as well. And when this gentleman started me doing this work, I was cleaning saxophones, taking them apart, learning how he put back the horns, and I was more or less the messenger boy. But not knowing that I had an interest in the saxophone, because different people would come and have their horns repaired, I would start messing around with the horns, and when the boss was away. But in front of the shop was this gentleman's dad, and he'd tell his son, the fella that you hired, he's playing around with the people's horns. So finally I was able to rent one from him from like $2, $3 a week. And it started from that point on.
And you were hooked.
Oh, I was hooked on it.
Now, I mentioned at 63 years young, you also put out your first CD, which is called Body and Soul, which was recorded with the Richard Parris Quintet.
Yes.
What was this like? Tell me a bit about this making of
Well,
this for you.
this was a concert that was given at the Maison de la Culture Frontenac in Montreal back in October. And it was a direct recording. Like you will hear, even on the CD, you hear the people when they applaud.
Yeah.
And it turned out very nice.
So it's one take, right?
It's just one take, that's right. There's no second chance.
Yeah, but you're used to that, performing live as a musician.
True.
Of course,
Very
go and
much
see
so.
the guys at Biddle's.
Yes.
You guys are there in your various forms 5 nights a week,
That's right?
Okay.
Yes.
And of course, that CD is available at HMV, at Archambault, and Sam's.
Just about all over the city.
Great to meet you.
Thank you
so
kindly.
much.
It's my pleasure.